Hi guys, and welcome back to Koi Fish Channel. Okay, this is a bloody horrible part of the hobby, and it's not a video I want to be doing, but nonetheless I'm doing it. This is what Dropsy looks like when people talk about Dropsy. This is what it looks like. It's like a honey. It's devastating, by the way, to be doing this and going back through this, so it is a bit like, but it is something that can offer an insight into the unfortunate parts of koi keeping and also how undefinitive it can be. So I'm going to share this image. This is the koi, and you can see it's like a pine cone shape with everything sticking out. All the scales are horrible. It makes the fish look like it's got a mini head, and its eyeballs are popping there. You can see the eyeballs are very big, and you can see all the scales sticking out. So we're going to go through this video. It's not going to be a nice video. I'm going to include like overlay of how I help try and improve the koi's fighting chance against this dropsy issue. Notice in the winter, the scales on the left side of the koi, right side of the koi, were starting to raise. That then, during the period of about when it warmed up a little bit in like in the March time, those raised scales went down on this particular koi, this Sankey, and then shortly after, when it got warmer, they came rampantly up. And there is a multitude of different reasons about why or what caused this dropsy in my koi. It isn't as straightforward as this, as I'm a doctor or I'm a vet and I can tell you definitively why, because keeping koi is complicated at times, and this is super complicated. Experts might be able to drop some comments in the comment section below about what they think about what they see in the koi, particularly towards the end of the video. I'm going to share a part of that may offer a deeper insight into just the scales being high and the eyes being bulging. Okay, so what can cause dropsy is the question, and that is a question with multiple different answers. When I googled this, bang, this is what came out. So firstly, as you can see, dropsy can be caused by a variety of factors straight away. Here are some of the bullet points for the common causes. The bacterial infection, that scared the hell out of me. I mean, literally, when I went, after what I experienced last year with Aromonas, I thought, when I cleaned my pond and disinfected it with all the treatments and everything, I thought, has that Aromonas managed to survive in my pond despite the copious amounts of stuff that I put in it? That was the main reason why I stopped recording about everything, because that scared me. Then we've got poor water quality, which we'll come on to later. There is something that I missed in my pond keeping journey. It wasn't to do with the ammonia, nitrites and nitrates, but nonetheless, the water quality can bring on dropsy as it depletes the immune system. Then we got the parasite infection. I was getting nothing back off my scrapes. I treated the pond, and the last treatment that I actually put in the pond was in April, because there are a variety of parasites out there that can cause problems. Then we got a viral infection, and then we got organ failure, like kidneys in particular are the concern, and I'm not sure whether the back end of this video, so the experts might be able to look at something that I'm willing to share. Nutrient deficiency. I feed good quality food, and to me everything seems right in there. And we've got the environmental stress, and with the environmental stress, it's quite an interesting one, because I did have that issue with the pond pipe leaking, which was located here, which is in a video that will be in the description below. That did cause a lot of stress to the koi, because it was like a 50-60% change in their environment, in their water. So anything that I was putting in there at the time that may have changed the water parameters or changed the water quality, that can also bring on dropsy. So you can see there are a vast variety of things that can bring on this sort of issue with the koi. There are some ranging in extreme things like Aromonas and the bacterial thing that would just devastate my pond, devastate me out of the hobby, and I'd be gone, because that absolutely destroyed my koi keeping enjoyment for a long time, and if that was back, I'd be out. Thankfully, I don't think it was that. So I took the decision to stop posting videos. That was my main thing. I thought, I don't need to overcomplicate this. I just need to make the right decisions for me, my wife, my life, my pond. Which sounds quite cool, doesn't it? But I was at like wit's end. I said to the wife, if we lose all these 4 fish now, we're basically out of the game. So I was concerned, so I stopped posting. So anyway, what happened is these scales started to raise, and it raised in the winter. Now they were raising really quite a lot, to be honest. And you can see that from this picture here, I got mega concerns. The advice I got and found was to salt bath the koi. There is next to nothing you can do in this particular point. Obviously, if I was a vet, I'd be able to get hold of drugs and inject the koi and do loads of different things that people may have theories about the best way that I could do that. The way that I was advised and the way that I was willing to take was to get some salt which I'll have the link for that in the description below, for the salt that I effectively used, and do some salt baths intermittently. So the idea was to do the salt baths every day, raising the salt content up as I went, and hope that the scales went down, the eyes stopped bulging, the fish improved, because the fish's behaviour had become, the other fish sort of started to bully him a little bit, this koi, and I didn't know whether they were bullying him or supporting him, but they were swimming around and sort of chasing him and forcing him around. If they got the way that I believe it is if they've got a polyfish in their environment, they don't want that polyfish in there, so they sort of move away from that polyfish. That's why the polyfish spends a lot more time on his own. Previously, that Sankey was super social, but now, because of these scales, he wasn't. He was on his own a lot, he was getting bullied a lot. And this is the argument about the quarantine pond. I hear you about the quarantine pond, I really do. At this point in time, I don't have a quarantine pond. I can see the sense in it, and definitely if you get onto the mega levels of it, 1,000,000% you'd have one. At my particular point, I don't know, I didn't feel like I haven't got a quarantine pond. But I know a lot of people will say, get a quarantine pond for this particular reason, because this poly koi shouldn't be in the pond, could affect the other fish, could contaminate the other fish, may affect the water, and basically there's a lot more problems that I can create from not having a quarantine pond. I don't have one. I don't really have the room for one. I don't have the time or expense to create one at the minute. It is something that I would look at in the future. Not every pond keeper's got one. Some of the top dogs, some of the big boys, some of the people that have been in the hobby for a long time, I think, do have quarantine ponds, because their education has led them down this path to basically not put all their eggs in one basket if something is going to happen, or all their fish in one pond. They don't want all their fish in one pond. If one's like broken, they don't want it leaking onto the other ones. Is probably like the eggs reference along with the koi. You get what I'm saying. The quarantine pond will go well. Back to what I was doing. So I'm not going to say the exact quantities of salt that I use with the water, because I think I'm not the right person to be handing that information out, and B is contact your local educated dealer or expert on this salt bathing method. So what I did is I salt bathed the koi, because I loved the koi. If you look at this koi, its markings, it's the space, the colour, I love a Sankey. It's probably my favourite fish is a Sankey, and I love the amount of white on it. The sumi, the beni is beautiful. The way it's just an absolute specimen, that koi, and I am devastated to lose it. So when I was salt bathing, I did sort of get this like emotional bond with the fish, as he was in a lot of pain and I was trying to help him to the best of my ability, which was not good enough in a nutshell. So I salt bathed him, and I salt bathed him progressively, rightly or wrongly. I, over the course of 2 weeks, salt bathed him every day, increasing the levels of salt slowly in the salt bath, and also increasing the length of time that he didn't flop onto his side or anything like that. It did seem at the beginning, the first like 7-8 days, he seemed to have been making progress, especially with his behaviour in the pond. It seemed to be improving, and I was like, yes, we can do this, and we couldn't. So we continued salt bathing him. Then unfortunately, after like the second week of doing it, his behaviour like in the pond and everything like that, just gone to a level like I just show you this little video, and I know that I shouldn't have had him in the pond at this point, and maybe should have took the steps earlier, but I wanted to try everything I possibly could to save this koi. So yes, he shouldn't have been in the pond like that. I should have put him to sleep earlier, or if I would have had a quarantine pond, put him in a quarantine pond. I can already feel the quarantine heads just going boom boom boom, so please don't hammer me on that point, because I know it would have improved it, and it is something that I will look at for the future at some point. I did what I did, and he went in, and you can see this is clearly what Dropsy looks like, but now you can see these red marks underneath. I don't know what they are, but I anticipate that is internal organs, and the redness around it is just that they were failing, maybe kidneys or something like that. I have no idea, but I know that some of you guys out there will know, or will definitely have a theory, a hypothesis about what that is, how it is, why it is, and why it looks like that, and how it is basically what has happened to the koi. Because I just know that Dropsy's killed the koi. For whatever reason, he's got Dropsy. I don't know. I did bond with that fish over there every day that I got her out, and just like gently push the top of the koi in, submerge it under the salt to make sure that the salt was getting everywhere on the koi. And I did sort of like, it was weird because I was doing it, obviously I can't fully do it away from the kids. So at some points my kids were coming out and they were looking at it, and it was just a sad, shitty sort of time to go through. There's literally nothing I can do. I'm putting more at risk here than the risk against reward has far outdone itself here. Just the emotional bond that I got with the koi of trying to help him, I probably went too far and put the others at risk, and that is a little bit of a regret of mine. But again, potentially sharing this can help you make your decision a little bit quicker. When I'd reached the limit and I knew there was no turning this koi round and saving its life and bringing it back, and I had to throw in the towel, so I had to bring down the clove oil to put the koi to sleep. As you know, or maybe if you don't know, clove oil at a certain level, Google it, you'll find out the balance that you need to put in the water so it eases the koi to sleep, rather than being a barbarian and whacking it on the head, or whatever the method that some people might be flirting with in their head. Just having the clove oil gently encourages the koi to sleep, and that is the way that I do it. But it's the best way you can do a shitty job. In a nutshell, this is what Dropsy looks like, this is what can happen. What you can do to potentially avoid it is sort of basically make sure that your water's on top bang quality. And the next episode I'm going to do is a better episode, but still a shit episode. And it does talk about water. I missed something. I really did miss something. And I know a lot of people are experiencing this problem, or quite a few people that I do know are experiencing this sort of problem with their water right now. That is affecting their pond keeping journey. So I think it's a good one for next time for the community to get involved and sort of share your experiences. But for now, that is the shitty side of pond keeping with the Dropsy. That's what it looks like. It's horrible to look at, it's horrible to go through. I'm gutted that I lost that Sankey. I do want to get another Sankey back, because Sankey is my favourite visually looking. It's literally my perfect Sankey, that. So I'm just devastated, but as you go through that, you got to grow through what you go through. And with this, I'm trying my best to grow my knowledge. I do feel like a plant pot a lot of the times coming at you with these videos, but I do think there's a massive benefit in sharing my experiences, be it a lot of these negative ones. I'm hoping that the community support me, get behind me, understand that I'm an amateur, aren't too hard on me, and understand the reasons for sharing these videos are to help people avoid my mistakes, or certainly share the negative experiences that I'm having during this hobby. And I am getting my ass kicked, to be fair, and I do bring the problems on myself sometimes, I know. But if there's a problem to be found, I'm pretty much a magnet for it at the minute. If a problem goes past me, I'm just like a magnet. It just sticks on me at the minute. And like I say, the only major problem that I've not had is the heron, and I really don't want to have that. I have got ideas about doing a rollout net across the top and across the bottom. It's great to have this episode out the way, because I have been thinking about this episode and releasing this episode for a very long time. I've not been keen on it. There's no way I can avoid it. This is just the way, what I've got to say, what's happened, how it's happened, why it's happened, and basically just be honest with you guys so other people can potentially learn. I am 1,000,000% looking forward to getting this episode out, the next episode out, and then getting to that happy place, baby, because I've got some good stuff coming your way. I really have, honestly. Got to go through that rough to get to that smooth. Take care, guys. Koi Fish Johnny, over and out.